Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video review brought to you as always by myself, Timmy Garrett from Bridgeburner Gaming, and as per usual in association and accordance with our super glorious best friends over at fishmonkeyproductions.com. As I mentioned in my previous review of Hardware Rivals, it is indeed the start of a new year and a new month, and with that comes new games for PlayStation Plus subscribers. One half of what PS4 owners can take advantage of was indeed the vehicle-based online shooter, and the other was a very, very special game which is very close to this old skeleton's heart, Grim Fandango.
Death makes sad stories.
Originally releasing for consoles roughly a year ago, and the original even further back on PC, way back in the mythical age of 1998, Grim Fandango is an incredibly special and one-of-a-kind game. And even if you're watching this video after January and can no longer obtain the game for free, I really do urge you to pick it up anyway. It truly is a phenomenal piece of work. To be honest with you, originally I had no intention of doing a video review. This game has after all been out for nearly 2 decades at this point, and everything that can be said has been said, right? However, as an owner of the original on PC and playing it through again until I obtained the Platinum on Vita last year, I felt obliged to make a review of this classic, groundbreaking game. If only because I truly believe that it is deserving of every bit of attention it gets. Now, the remastered version comes by way of Double Fine Productions, the original being brought to us by fine purveyors of adventure games LucasArts, and it holds up astonishingly well. Now, it is important at this point to mention that this isn't a remastered game in, say, the same way that Resident Evil Remake was, or the episodic reimagining of Final Fantasy VII is, which is looming on the horizon. This is more like a direct port of the original game, with a little bit of polish on top, such as a newly orchestrated score, improved character models, and a top-notch and very entertaining commentary featuring and led by writer Tim Schafer. In a tweet, Grim Fandango is a noir adventure game set in the land of the dead. Expanding on that, in it you play struggling salesman Manny Calavera, who is stuck in a dead-end job, see what I did there, with dead-end clients. However, his world gets flip-turned upside down when he meets and falls in love with Meche. Manny is then swept up in a plot worth of some of the best hard-boiled noir classics as he gets caught up in a journey of mystery and intrigue which will take place over the next 4 years of his life. But let's get to the meat of the game. What makes this game so important to many 90s gamers? Well, first and foremost, I would have to say the characters. Schafer has always had a gift at writing incredibly unique, deep and entertaining characters for players to get to know. Look no further than games of his such as Full Throttle and Psychonauts. And I would go as far as to say that in Grim Fandango he has written some of the finest characters in video gaming history. The exploits of salesman Manny Calavera, the adventures he goes on, the places he visits and the companions and enemies he meets will elicit about every emotion possible from you. Joy, sadness, pity, anger, amusement. Ironically, in a game set almost entirely in the land of the dead, populated with skeletons and monsters, Schafer has brought to life some of the most human characters I have ever had the pleasure of interacting with in an adventure game. But the characters would be nothing if they didn't have a stage to perform on, which completely drew you into their world. And boy oh boy do they. From the cramped offices where Manny Calavera tries to sell afterlife packages to newly dead clients, to the noiristic stylings of the small port city of Rubicava, Grim Fandango is a game whose environments positively ooze personality, depth and believability. I have always and will always be an absolute sucker for pre-rendered backgrounds, and this masterpiece really does showcase some of the most beautifully crafted worlds I've ever had the pleasure of inhabiting. The soundtrack is also one of a kind and sets the scene perfectly from the minute you hit start, showcasing a breathtaking mix of diverse and sometimes contrasting genres. Original composer and producer Peter McConnell takes inspiration from jazz, bebop, swing, and even South American folk music, and creates what feels like a score from a cinematic masterpiece. Not only does the score perfectly complement the setting, but also of equal importance, it adds to the minutiae the game is so renowned for and just draws you into the world further and further. So, in conclusion, get this game. Whether you are in time to nab it for free or you have to pay for it, get it, get it, get it. You truly have never played anything like it. Even if you're an adventure game aficionado and are already familiar with titles such as Monkey Island and Day of the Tentacle, but you somehow missed Grim Fandango, I guarantee you have never played an adventure game with the scope, attention to detail, and characters such as this. One final word to the wise, this is an old school adventure game with old school sensibilities. Expect obscure, nonsensical puzzles from the off. Viva la revolution!